Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Cheap Seats podcast. This is episode 3. We are heading into Elimination Chamber, being held in Perth, Australia. As always, the permanent guest, the co-owner of the Cheap Seats, Orca Shield. How you doing?
Hello. I'm doing well, thank you very much. I'm a bit tired, so if you're watching on the video and wonder why I look like a panda, my wife doesn't beat me. I've just got the designer bags.
I'm glad you cleared that up. That your wife isn't beating you. I'm glad you cleared that up because I'm sure that's what everyone was wondering.
It's my Rhea Ripley cosplay since it's in Australia. It's got nice big dark lines under my eyes.
Fair enough. So, Elimination, which we've literally just finished doing our predictions for Elimination Chamber, less than 10 minutes ago. So we've covered that pretty extensively, but I want to talk about the Elimination Chamber as a match type and just how it's probably one of the most impressive match types that the WWE's ever had. Potentially.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely up there. I think the best match type is obviously the Royal Rumble.
Yes.
I'd say you've then got. I think they've now overdone Hell in a Cell. I think. I know you could arguably say the same for Elimination Chamber, but Elimination Chamber always had the gimmick of it was for something, either for a WrestleMania opponent or for a title. Whereas Hell in a Cell used to be this it had to end a blood feud. If a feud was going that hard, it needed Hell in a Cell, and then all of a sudden they've just gone, that match can go in a Hell in a Cell. That's fine. So I think that it's up there. I'd say Royal Rumble, Money in the Bank, Elimination Chamber are probably and War Games. They're my top 4 match types now.
Yeah, they've had some really good ones and some really awful ones over the years. The tag one that they had a few years ago. I can't exactly remember when it was, but they did have a tag one a few years ago.
They've had 2 tag ones, I think, or 3
are they?
Maybe.
Okay. It was the one that had the Lucha Dragons in it.
I think it was Callisto did the flip off the top.
Yeah,
the cage.
That's right. That was incredible. I thought that was a really good one. New Day were in it. Usos were in it. I thought it was great. I really did. Singles ones, obviously the first couple when it was actually just a match within an event, not its own event. I thought that was really good. I really enjoyed those ones, especially I think the first one was Edge lost in the chamber for the World Heavyweight Championship, the big gold belt, and then he forced an entry, or Vince got him to cash in to go into the second chamber, which was for the WWE title, or whichever one it was, or it was the other way around.
I'm not sure if that was the first one. It was definitely one of the earlier ones, because in my head, I don't know why. I think the very first one is when Triple H got a crushed larynx or whatever it was from
Rob Van Dam.
Rob Van Dam. And he still continues the match and just still calls out spots and stuff, even though he must have been in absolute agony.
I cannot. That will interfere with your breathing, let alone your talk, like your speech. That will interfere with your breathing. That must be. I mean, he really did look like he was in trouble for a minute after he got hit by RVD. He really looked like he was in trouble there for a moment. But you're right. I think you're right. I think that is that is probably one of the first ones, if not the first, because HBK wins and he wins the belt. Because but he was wearing those. He had that really weird sort of. I don't even know how to describe it, but like the Pilgrims.
Oh yeah,
yeah. He has like that Quaker Oats guy haircut and the really awful brown. So a little funny story, a little bit of trivia about that is he didn't actually his trunks or tights, they weren't ready, like, so the ones he was wearing were like unfinished, because they were supposed to have other things on, and they were supposed to have HBK down the side, but they ended up with just a H. And they didn't look good. Yeah, but he ended up wearing them. I can't remember what the whole story was, but I know that they weren't finished.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was wearing unfinished ring gear.
I genuinely thought you were going to say like so he wore Trish Stratus's or something like that. It's just random.
No, but Undertaker did end up wearing a pair of the Godfather's trousers one time. I think they lost his bag or something, and he needed a pair of trousers to wear, and I think he ended up wearing a pair of the Godfather's trousers.
Do you miss the? Obviously, it's for health and safety, and they're looking after their staff a lot more than they used to back in there. But do you miss the outside of the chamber being just like pure steel? It sort of felt like they hit a lot harder onto that, and now they've got the mats all around the outside of the ring.
Oh, I do, because it made it more visceral. It made it more like, I want to say hardcore, but I don't want to like overuse the term. But yeah, I feel like adding the match is great for the talent that are going to be in the match. Their health has to come first, right? Regardless of what we think. But it when it was just the steel floor, it did make it just a bit more like there was more risk. There was a lot more risk, and so I kind of enjoyed that aspect
I feel like
of it.
the welts and stuff showed up more as well.
They
like you took a power slam on that cage. There was no protection. Your back was looking like a jigsaw puzzle after that.
That was bad.
But it's definitely a good event, and I think that this year, for years, I think the Elimination Chamber was sort of just a forgotten thing because it's been shoehorned into a really awkward time for any sort of WWE event.
Yeah,
it's hard for these shows after the Rumble and before Mania. All these shows in between sort of feel like a B show pay-per-view,
and they shouldn't. They should. Elimination Chamber should not be a B show.
Elimination Chamber should be very, very good, and very high. But I mean, this time you have got a bit more of the stakes. Like you're trying to finish that WrestleMania card, so I can see that Triple H is trying to bring it back.
Yeah.
So you've got 2 number 1 contenders matches and then 2 title matches. So he does make it feel like a big event. But as we discussed in the predictions video very briefly, I think a lot of it is very predictable just because we are on that stretch to WrestleMania now.
I think they should move Elimination Chamber to a different part of the year. I don't think this should be before. There's no reason for this to be before Mania, in my opinion. I don't think it should be at all. I think this should be after SummerSlam somewhere that down there maybe before Survivor Series, or even at the end of the year before Rumble. That could be quite cool.
Either December, because it used to be like Armageddon. That's when the Elimination Chamber was first made, and that was always around December time.
Yeah,
and then you had. I think ECW did it in December to December, maybe. I think. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure ECW did one.
Mm-hmm.
Or, yeah.
I'll have to go and check, but yeah.
I can't remember. I'm pretty sure. Or they did something similar. But do you think it's worth then? Because, we get the build, we get the kickoff show from WrestleMania and all that. Would it be worth swapping the Rumble and the Elimination Chamber? Does the Rumble need to be January and then WrestleMania not until April? Or could you put the Royal Rumble in February, March, then you still got a month of build-up between your winner and challenger or title holder? Well, and it might make it so it's a bit less predictable for both the Rumble and the shows afterwards if you've not got that big build.
We talked about this. We went over it and we discussed it, and we went through why we shouldn't have title matches at the Royal Rumble event, because it kind of telegraphs who's going to win the Rumble, and that's why I said that they could do the Rumbles for the belts, because then it makes it just that much more, there's more reward, for winning. I don't think they should switch the Rumble and this, no, because the idea, I suppose, in in the greater scheme, is that without people coming back like Rock, Punk, all that. Imagine if they didn't come back, you would still be able to build over a course of 2 months, well, 1.5 months, the Cody Rhodes story. Like you could have him having this fallout with Roman, but the thing is I suppose this time it is different because Rock's come back, and then now we have this really strange, like now we have heel Rock, and that's good, I think. But I don't think that was the first choice. Like I don't think that was like supposed to be what actually happened, but who knows? We this, like I said in the other episode, this could be dream storytelling. But I think you could move Chamber down the year to around September, maybe October time, because by that point you've had Mania, that's out the way. SummerSlam is in August, so you would have had SummerSlam, and then you can either have Chamber after SummerSlam, because you don't have any other major events after that until Survivor Series. And let's be fair, until like War Games has become main roster, but that's usually like for a faction thing anyway. But Survivor Series until this year was pretty lame, because then you had a lot of the brand warfare stuff,
Yeah, you had the traditional five-a-side or whatever it was, elimination thing, which did have some good matches in.
Yeah, they were.
It kick-started a lot of like big pushes, like the Dolph Ziggler one and stuff like that.
Yeah, it did.
That's
Because he eliminated basically the whole Authority on his own.
Yeah,
that was good.
But yeah, I see what you mean. You could move it back then, just so it's got something.
Well, you can do things like have chamber matches for the title. Like you can do stuff like you couldn't do that here, because it's sandwiched right close to WrestleMania, and it kind of like, I hope it's a good match, but we kind of know who's winning. So
you could do. I'm just having a look at the pay-per-view list for this year.
I mean, there's so many that are just pointless.
Yeah, there are quite a lot that are pointless. So the ones in...
Do they still do Fastlane?
No, Fastlane's been scrapped completely.
Okay, good.
Oh no, sorry, it's in October 7th, so it's been moved forward.
Oh well, again, what's the point of that one? That doesn't do anything. It's just a monthly sort of pay-per-view. Like they could get rid of that entirely and use Chamber.
Well, you've got WWE
next month.
Yeah, you've got Survivor Series in November, and then what about if you move the Elimination Chamber to December? But then to make it feel a bit more, you didn't have to have it for the title. You could also have the Chamber for like the number 30 spot in the Rumble or something like that.
Yeah.
You could then put something else on the line in the Chamber, and it would inflate it a bit.
I just feel like they've got it's such an impressive match type structure. Like it's just so impressive, and there's so many there's so much cool shit you could do, and I just feel like they're just not capitalizing on it. In my opinion, you can stack it as with as many top stars as you want, but the reality is if you've got it in the run up to Mania, you've already like you said earlier that you've already sort of said you've told the people kind of what the main events are already, so it doesn't matter who wins the Chambers, or if they're not for the number one contender spot, they're pointless, which is what they've done this time. But again we kind of already know who potentially is going to be walking away winning here. So I don't know. I feel like a mid-card Chamber would have been really good here. But again, the only mid-card we have is Logan Paul, who is in a Chamber, but not for his title. It's Gunther. And he's holding the IC title, but like you said, you're not. We're not sure if he can leave the US yet.
He can't. That's why on Monday we had the IC belt. His visa won't let him travel or leave the US.
Yeah, makes
Not sure when
sense.
that runs still, but yeah, that's why we had the IC title to main event Monday Night Raw this week. That had just been.
I mean, that's fair. It's not like Gunther's going to have a horrible match. You know, he'll probably get a great match out of whoever he's up against. But yeah, I really liked the Elimination Chamber. Like I still do, I still do. I think for me it's like the Rumble is first, and then I think I can't think. Like, I think War Games is fine, and then it's probably Chamber and then Hell in a Cell. But like you said, they've done Hell in a Cell to death. They just used it too much. They've just used too much. I don't know what the word is. They've just used too much. Well, yeah, they've just used Hell in a Cell too much. I guess. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, but we've we briefly touched on some of the stuff that's happened on the card. So what would be what match are you most looking forward to on this match card? Because again, it's another Triple H banger where it's shorter cards, but every match is one that I'm actually looking forward to watch. Even if we sort of can predict the outcome, I'm still going to go out and watch all these matches because I think they're going to be hard hitting and very good.
I'm actually quite interested in the tag match, if I'm honest, because we got two of our homegrown boys. Three actually. Sorry, I forgot Finn Balor was Irish. um, but you know, I think it'll be interesting to see what they allow the British lads to do, because they normally like to be quite hard hitting anyway. I have to say the Rhea Ripley match against Nia Jax, it's going to be fine. I think there's going to be a lot of power moves. Rhea's probably going to hit the Riptide on Nia Jax, which is, you know, the power spot, which I think is going to be really good. But it's not going to be like a fast paced. You know, it's going to be quite slow. Lots of rest holds, I think. I don't know how long Trips is going to give them. Maybe 15 minutes. Maybe more. I don't know.
I'd say it depends how long the chambers go on for. Really, I think they will give them quite a bit. And where do you think that's going to go on the card? Do you think that that's going to be your main event, or do you think they're going to bookend the chambers as main events? So then they can all do the whole. I'm going to point at a sign in the distance. Up there.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen is I think we're going to have the tag first, then we're going to have women's chamber. Then maybe Rhea Ripley's match, and then the men's chamber, perhaps. Or, because we know that Triple H is trying to break boundaries, and quite rightly he should. I think we're going to have tag, women's chamber, men's chamber, and then. Again, I don't know how easy it is to construct to put the chamber down. I don't know how easy that is. So they could do tag, women's, men's chamber, and then championship match to headline the show. I think that's probably what we're going to see. I think he'll let Rhea go on last, so that after the match she can she can enjoy the thing, and maybe she can talk on the mic for a bit after it's gone off air, you know, because they do that. We've been to live shows, we know what happens. So yeah, I think once the curtain goes down, so to speak, she'll talk to the crowd for a bit, which is great. She needs, you know, let her do it, I think.
Yeah.
So I think that's what the match order is going to be.
The only thing I'd probably swap is I think the women's chamber is going to be better than the men's, and that might be a bold statement, but I think the women smashed the Rumble this year, and I think looking at the lineup in the men's chamber is fantastic. Don't get me wrong, the caliber in that. But as we sort of touched on in our predictions video, which we won't spoil, but you can go check out, we said that the men's one pretty much was unanimous. We knew who was going to win. Pretty much that one seems to be set. The women, we did say there was at least two people that could win that possibly, and there's still a lot more stories that can go in that. And I think looking at the men's one, you've got Logan Paul that's probably going to do a high spot because he's quite good annoyingly good at doing all the high stuff and the big flips and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But then I think the women's one, you're going to get Liv doing some weird high spot. You're going to get Tiffany Stratton doing some weird high spot because she's quite a good high flyer. You've got the power of Raquel, Rack the Back, and Bianca Belair that come in. And then Naomi does a bit of everything. She can do some high stuff. She's quite agile based. And I think that Becky's going to be the one that sort of controls the tempo and sort of, even though it's her first, I think it's her first time in a chamber, if I'm not wrong. I think Liv's the most in a chamber for women, and I think that Becky's the least experienced. But I think just her experience in general is going to be the one that sort of controls that match and makes it look as good as it is.
So
I think she'll be the one shouting.
Yeah, I think so long as they keep the flow, like people don't get too excited and don't start trying to bounce off the ropes and everything too much, too quickly, I think it'll be okay.
Yeah. But going back briefly, we did, well, I did bring it up earlier. We had the IC title match on Raw, which was probably should have been on the pay-per-view or PLE. But obviously with Gunther's travel issues, he's not been able to defend his belt on the PLEs that have been outside of the US. But it was a good match. Main event Jay versus Gunther, and ended the way you'd probably expect
interference
the match to go.
Jimmy,
Jimmy and Solo come in again and interfere. But
what do you think if I was to say that I think by the end of the year that Jay rejoins the bloodline in some way?
Nah, I don't think he's. I think he's completely done with the bloodline.
All right.
I think he's. The only way he would come back would be if they brought even more members of the bloodline back and you had Rikishi there as well.
Okay.
I think maybe then you might get him back, but what they've done to him now, because Jimmy's now cost him 3 different titles. So I can't see him if he goes. I can't in Vince's time in running it, or Name Redacted's time running it, whatever we want to know him as now. I could have seen Jay just bouncing back and forth with, yes, I'm in the bloodline, no, I'm not. But I think with Trips now, I think now that he's in charge, he's got consistent. Although he did slip up a bit, although I don't know, would it Jay returning to the bloodline, would that have been under Trips's control, or no? No, Name Redacted would have still been there in charge, wouldn't he, at the time?
When was this?
So I put Jay back in, because it was
middle of last year. Yeah, I remember.
Because they did Money in the Bank and beat Roman and Solo, and then like a few weeks later, he turns on him again in, I can't remember what pay-per-view it was. It was one where Jay had it was a Hell in a Cell. I think that's where they went back against each other again. And Jay dragged Jimmy out. Jimmy dragged Jay out of the ring right at the end again.
Yeah.
And then turned on him. So I can't see that under this sort of like consistency and like the storytelling, like Trips has been picking stuff up that goes back years, never mind weeks.
Yeah.
So I can't see him now going in any feasible sense that Jay would go, I'll rejoin the bloodline.
Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen really, but I would feel like, well then what the fuck was he doing the last 12 months or however long it's been since he completely left. But I do feel that Jimmy leaving Jay, and then that's never been fully explored either. At least that's how I feel. It hasn't been fully explored. I could be wrong. I don't know. You'll have to let me know if I've got that wrong. But
I'm sorry, I got distracted then because I think I just witnessed a double RKO
Oh,
from
yeah, you
Kevin
did.
Owens and
Yeah.
Randy Orton.
Yeah, sorry. So for anyone listening, we've got a Elimination Chamber match playing in the background on WWE 2K23, and Kevin Owens and Randy Orton just hit a double RKO on Drew McIntyre. So that, yeah, I can appreciate why that was distracting.
I wasn't expected to see that.
No,
Well,
I asked if it's been explored why Jimmy turned on Jay fully. Like,
no,
has it been fully explored yet, or is it just a case of
I think it's just jealousy. It seems everyone
okay,
seems to think it's jealousy that
okay,
that
but
Jay kept getting the main events and it should have been Jimmy and this, that, and the other.
okay, but they haven't actually explored it properly yet.
No,
No, okay. So we've still got that to come. We've still got,
during the
yeah,
during the beatdown, because after the IC title match, Jay's basically just lying prone on the apron, and no, sorry, I keep mixing them up. Jay's lying prone on the apron. Jimmy keeps just hitting Uso splash after Uso splash to him, so he hits about 3 of them,
okay,
and then he picks he grabs Jay by the hair and lifts his head up off the canvas and basically just says, "I'll always be the big brother, and I'll always be older, and always be better," and this, that, and the other.
okay.
And yeah.
That's it. Okay.
Yep, that's all.
So that's okay. So we've got So we've got that blow off to come. Whatever they end up
I
doing.
think that'll be a Mania match. I think Jimmy versus Jay.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
It gets them both on the card, and yeah, I can't see. There's nothing else for them to do really. I can't see Jay getting another shot at Gunter.
Yeah.
I think I know the match that most people want to see at Mania for Gunther or Gunter. But whether that comes or not, I don't know. I'd rather see the IC title go to a certain Mr. Gable, and I think that they could put on a banger at WrestleMania.
Can you imagine?
So
I think that would be a great match, but yeah, it's hard to know what's going to happen there. I think that we've seen a lot more fatal 4-ways, triple threats, and a lot of these sort of match stipulations since Triple H has been in charge of creative, because I know for a fact, and it's been said by many former WWE superstars, that Vince was never a fan of the multi-man match gimmicks, especially triple threats and fatal 4-ways. He was very traditional, very good over evil, whatever, two dudes slogging it out. He was very old school like that. So I think the fact that they're introducing, it's not very often, but it means that they always have the option of, if you've got Gunther still holding the IC title, you've got Chad Gable, who definitely needs to be still in that picture, but you can have others as well. And if you get to a point where you're like, okay, we've got too many challengers for the title, you can just say, okay, fatal 4-way. It worked.
yeah,
It worked at the Royal Rumble. It also means that there's less. I mean, the chance of a fatigue injury is lessened, because not everyone has to be doing something all the time.
you can have someone just out on the outside for a while.
Yeah, exactly. So you can have that, and and because there'll be people in the ring doing stuff, it doesn't detract from the action that's happening. It's not like a Cena Orton match from like 2013, and every 10 minutes they're just grabbing a rest hold, or someone goes to the outside and then they're there for like 10 minutes, like those really like boring matches. And I genuinely think that as Orton's got older, he's gotten better. Like, his timing is better for everything. Like, everything he does, it's never like, there's never too long without something happening.
Yeah.
And I think he's doing well to pass that on to the younger guys as well, to just match flow. It's so important because there's so many times where I found myself in the past watching a pay-per-view and just thinking, oh fuck this, I can't believe it's still going,
Yeah.
because there's just nothing happening, you know, and they're trying to do the they class it as storytelling, and it's fucking not,
Yeah.
you know, unless it's a bedtime story, then it's doing its job because it's putting me to sleep. Um,
I
so
know it's the chamber, but yeah, like you say, this paper PLE that's coming up, there's only one singles match.
there is only
The
one
rest are
singles
all women.
match, so I'm just thinking. I mean, tag is a tag. Tag match is a tag match. It's, you know, I'm happy. I like tag wrestling. I've always been a fan of tag wrestling. Um, because I kind of grew up in that era where you had so many different tag teams. They all had their own gimmicks. They all had their own rivalries, and you know, and stuff. I don't know. I have a fondness for multi-man matches, I suppose. Multi-women matches, you know, because that's the thing now as well. Like I'm okay with it. The more people doing stuff, the better. That's why I love the Royal Rumble, because you can fill the ring up with, like, you know, 12 people, and they're all just doing little bits and pieces here and there. And it's always got, you see, you've always got something to look at, always something to watch. You know,
Yeah.
whereas a lot of singles matches, they could just go on forever. You know, rest holds and and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so I mean, Raw was a bit of a. I mean, so not a lot happened on
Yeah.
Monday's
So
Raw.
Raw, you had the last chance battle royale for the women's spot
Yeah,
and the IC title. They were the two big talking points of the show, really. Obviously, Raquel Rodriguez returning. We touched on it in the predictions video, but it was good to see her back after she'd been away with a skin condition
yeah,
that was basically making her, one, sort of uncomfortable. She didn't want to be seen because, obviously, as a wrestler, and I
just a
think
person.
more so, well, as a person, but also as a wrestler, you know it. And I feel like
Yeah,
female wrestlers get it worse than the men because they don't wear a lot. You know, the ring gear, you don't want it to be too baggy. I know you get some people that, like KO has his,
just
like,
t-shirts. Yeah,
vest and stuff and t-shirts, but a lot of the women always wear these like skin tight stuff, or it's
yeah,
very very little clothing, which, if you've got a condition which, you know, is either one, going to be hurt by the fact that you've got a lycra or whatever it is, like, vest that's going to be pressing down on the skin, which is going to be quite hot and sweaty, I imagine, under there,
yeah,
or very little, and you've got cameras and, like, you know, 60,000 people looking at you in an arena, never mind online, like on TV.
yeah,
I imagine it's going to hurt quite a lot. There's a lot of mental side that's going to be coming along with that. And
yeah,
then, obviously, if it's given a tremendous amount of pain, then yeah, stay away for as long as you can until it's treated. But it was good to see her back, and it was a genuine surprise because she took Jade Cargill's spot in the match. I can't remember why. I don't know if it was ever said because I was working at the time and trying to watch it. So, um, but I know that she was the last entrance, and then she just, yeah, appeared.
okay.
She did really well in the battle royale. She got, I think, about 5 different eliminations. Obviously, had a lot of filler.
I was gonna say, yeah, because I didn't actually get a chance to watch it. I've been at work all week, so I didn't really get a chance to see what was going on. So I've had to
She,
rely on you to to fill me in,
yeah,
unfortunately.
there was a lot of the Shayna and Zoe have carried on their tag team, so I think that they're probably going to go after the women's belts at some point, because even through the entire battle royal, there was they were just teaming up. They were saving each other from elimination. In the end, it was a 2-on-1 handicap match
Right.
between Raquel and Zoe and Shayna, and she managed to get thing.
So at least they're letting Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark not only look like a very cohesive tag team, but they're also making them look pretty strong, which is good. They're not burying Shayna like they normally do. Because I went back and I watched the women's chamber where um, she just went round just making everyone tap out or pass out. I know she made Liv Morgan pass out.
Yeah,
in front of Asuka,
yeah,
and then made Asuka pass out as well, which at the time was unheard of. So they were they were pushing her, and then Vince just was like, yeah, but she's ugly though. It's like, what? Like, I feel that's why Shayna's push ended, like why she didn't win at Mania. And yeah, that's how I feel. Like, she lost to Charlotte Flair. Like, okay, we know that Charlotte Flair is very, very good. But you know, to bury someone after they literally killed like most of the women's division in the chamber, um, and then we ended up we we ended up with her losing to Charlotte at Mania. It's a bit like, well, I know why she lost. It's because she's not one of Vince's girls, you
yeah.
know. Because at the time, this Vince was still in control. They hadn't even sold to TKO at that point, and Triple H wasn't in charge of the booking. But now you can see, now he's in charge of the booking, he kind of gets it. Maybe both Zoe and Shayna aren't quite ready for their own for a main event. For a main roster singles run. Maybe they're not quite there yet. Although I find it hard to believe, because Shayna was NXT Women's Champion for a while, for a long while actually. But yeah, they've kind of put them together as a tag team, which is fine. I don't have an issue with that. But they seem to be, apart from, is it Katana Chance and
Aiden Carter and Katana Chance.
yeah. So because they lost the titles to the Kabuki Warrior. Well, Asuka and Kairi
Yeah, I
Sane.
don't know. Some commentators still call them the Kabuki Warriors at times, but then the Damage Control, because they've now
Yeah.
they-
Okay.
that's what they are. So I don't know.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's interesting that they're still not sure. Are they Damage Control or are they this one? It's a bit like the situation with Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate not being given a completely sticking tag name, or just
Yeah.
they are who they are. They don't have a
I
name.
think the men's tag team needs them belts split up again now. I think that the best thing to do, and they could do it at Elimination Chamber. You could get a double count out, or like both people, like say the Finn Balor and Tyler Bate both pin each other, both shoulders are down or whatever, and they both get the pin. So it's like a double count, and they need to just find a way to split them belts up, because maybe more so on SmackDown. You've obviously got Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne. You've got the Creed brothers, DIY. There's so many like good teams that are down there now, upcoming as well from NXT. That they could do having them belts split back up again, one on each brand.
I agree. The only thing I would say with that is that the tag division's already quite sparse. So I feel like, I think I mentioned this in the predictions video, is it would be really, really nice if they unify the belts and then have all tag teams, just have them be cross promotion. So they're not signed to Raw or SmackDown, they're signed to both because they're a team. And you can do that with stables as well, like the New Day. If Big E ever comes back, you can have, like, they can have the Freebird rule, where any of them, any combination of them could defend the belts. I just feel, I feel like it's coming. We just have to ride out this WrestleMania, and I think over the next year, leading back to WrestleMania 2025, I think we're going to see an improvement in the tag division. Like you said, the Creed brothers, absolutely superb. Like, some of the stuff they do is brilliant. But we need more tag teams that stay as tag teams. Like, they're not tag teams for 3 months and then they split up.
I think we are getting that, because you've got the Street Profits, you've got the Authors of Pain are now back, DIY are back together.
Yep.
These are all legit tag teams. The Creed brothers, Judgment Day, although they were like sort of chucked together, they are now a faction. They've been together for years. The New Day have been together for years. So there are quite a few teams that are sticking together a lot more. I think the women still struggle on that front. It does seem like the only ones that I can really think of are Caden Carter and Katana Chance, and then obviously Damage Control are quite good because they've been together in different promotions as well. That they've sort of stuck together.
Yeah, I would say if we ignore the fact that Kairi Sane was let go or she quit, I would say that the Kabuki Warriors, they were a long running tag team. Yeah. And you knew as soon as she came back, you knew they were getting back together. Because Asuka was kind of just filling that spot in the main card where will she, won't she,
Yeah.
But so you're right. The women's division suffers horribly from slapdash tag teams that have no history. They haven't worked together, and then within months they're split up and they're doing their own thing on the singles thing. But then again, like now that Vince is completely gone, I think we're gonna see, but obviously we have to get WrestleMania out of the way because they've been booking that for a year, close to a year. So, yeah.
So, and then SmackDown that had gone as well. We had the Bloodline came out. There was a few clues from The Rock that he may not be fully on board with Roman, that he's done some of the stuff, or it's just pure cinema again. Like he did the.
I hope it's cinema.
He did the Bloodline thing wrong.
Yeah.
When everyone put their finger up, he did like an L.
Yeah.
The camera angle was fantastic when he said, "I'm going to do everything to make sure that you lose at WrestleMania," because it almost looked like he was pointing at Roman rather than pointing at Cody.
Yeah.
At that point, again, just heel Rock living up, like absolutely insulting the crowd in every way, shape, or form.
Before I forget this point, because I've got a horrible short-term memory, I don't know if anyone noticed, but one of the shirts that the shirt The Rock was wearing was one of the shirts he wore back in it was either actually one of the shirts he wore back in 99, 2000, and he's cut the sleeves off because he's obviously a lot bigger than he was. Or he's purchased a shirt that looks very, very similar and he's cut the sleeves off. So I'm hoping this is just trivia. This is just something I noticed because I was obsessed with The Rock when he became like the people's champ, this, that, and the other. So around 99 leading into 2000 and 2001, I was obsessed with The Rock. Like I preferred him over everybody else. It was just one of those. Like I'll actually make a point of wearing it on one of our videos. I've got one of those. I've got two of them, but I've got the hockey jerseys, but the Rock's one. So it says electrifying on the back, and it's got like the Brahma Bull and everything. Like I've got that. I own that, and I've also got the DX one as well, which I did wear to when I went to see the wrestling at the Albert Hall back in 2016, I think. I can't even remember. It was so long ago. Yeah. It was when NXT did the NXT UK tournament thing for their inaugural tournament, and that was great fun. And it was such a small crowd as well that you really felt like it was good. It was a really good house show.
Speaking of DX as well, did you see the 4-man tag team? That I can't remember if it was Raw or SmackDown, but you had the Awesome Truth with DIY versus the Judgment Day, and Judgment Day were beating them down. Then they come back, and then as they clear the ring, they all do the suck it. They throw the X's.
Nice.
Leading into the fact R-Truth still thinks DIY is DX.
I thought because Yeah, I thought that was really funny because Tommaso Ciampa with the bald head with the beard. Johnny Gargano looks nothing like HBK though.
I
That's
think
the
there
only
was
thing.
I think there was a photo put on X, or the artist formerly known as Twitter, and I think they'd photoshopped Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano onto DX. So,
That's funny. But yeah, I love that. He's like, who'd have thought? Triple H, Shawn Michaels. Our Truth is doing some wonderful fucking stuff right now. Like they need to. I know they're already capitalizing on it as far as merchandise goes, because anything he says
speaking of which,
is
I've got the merch under this jumper. If I wasn't so cold, I've got my I'll look it up. I've got
yeah.
my Three Amigos,
Tom
Tom
and
and
Nick
Nick.
Mysterio. That's so good. And that was just one thing he said. Just one thing that he said.
Judgment Day,
In
live,
just
laugh, love.
yeah. Just if this is all merchant. This is all everything he says you can sell.
Yeah,
Everything he says you can sell because it's not making fun of the product. It's not making fun of other people. He's not even making fun of himself. He's just that's his reality. That's the reality he's living in, and he's sharing it with us. And I think it's fucking awesome. I think it's so good.
it's comedy done right in WWE.
Yeah. No one is like is being made to look small. Like it.
Yeah.
No, not even our truth. He's just sharing his reality with us.
Yeah, because then even when he's in matches, he does all of John Cena's 5 moves.
Oh yeah, the jumping shoulder tackle. Yeah, he
It's
does.
so good.
Yeah.
He's so good, and I hope he does get one last title run because he is unfortunately obviously age is catching up with everyone, and he must be late 40s, I'd say now, maybe even 50s. Or truth. Yeah.
He's probably in his mid to late 40s. Still looks like he's in his fucking 20s though. Man's reverse. He's got that Benjamin Button thing going on. He's reversing. He's aging in reverse.
Yeah. He is 52 years old.
Fucking hell, man.
I just googled it. 52.
Jesus Christ, and he is in amazing shape.
19th of January 1972 he was born.
Fuck. That means he was already like he debuted in like 2002, I think.
Yeah, he's the longest. He's the longest tenured WWE superstar at the minute.
Yeah.
So he's it popped up. I think it was 2000. I think they put on it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes
sense.
sense.
It was on Raw.
Yeah, that makes sense. He teamed up with Road Dogg when Mr. Arse did. Wait, yeah, because he would have been getting ready for his invasion angle thing with Chuck Palumbo. Billy and Chuck. If that doesn't scream Vince booking, I don't know what does.
Yeah, that definitely does. It's just that we'll stick these two together. That'll be a comedy one,
and we'll pretend we'll make out like they're gay, but they're not gay, but people will think they are. Like it's like, okay, all right, Vince, whatever you say. So okay. So we've done SmackDown. Was anything interesting happening on NXT? Anything noteworthy?
They showed the injury to Shotzi. She's unfortunately she is out for the whole year now.
That looks so bad, dude. I saw that this morning on Twitter. That looks so fucking bad. Like she just jumped straight up in the air because it must have felt like someone had shot her in the knee. I've no idea what that injury feels like, but the way she reacted was just like I was like, oh fuck, poor girl.
Yeah, they showed that there wasn't really much else on NXT this week. There was Bron Breakker came back, him and they've got an actual name now, and it's not as good as the Wolf Dogs or whatever it was called.
Oh,
they
okay.
were originally being called. I can't remember, but they have got a name now. But nothing major happened. I think yet again it's a few of the talents probably gone over to Australia.
Yeah,
I don't know if they're going to do an NXT show over there as well since
they need to get over the jet lag. I don't know. I don't know if intersect. I don't know if you saw someone posted a video of the superstars arriving in Perth, and did you see that Undertaker was with them?
Was he?
Yeah.
He must be doing like a press conference or something.
He must be doing his he must be doing his show.
Yeah.
It's I can't remember, but yeah, there's like a talking he does like a talk show thing.
Speaking of the Undertaker, this is we should have spoke about this. I think on our first podcast, because I think it was about 2 weeks ago. Did you see that he presented the Saudi League's trophy?
Yeah, I did, and I think
Cristiano Ronaldo is like proper fanboying over him.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I saw it, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Oh, okay, he's collecting a paycheck. Okay, all right, fine, yeah, I respect that. And then it was like it showed Cristiano Ronaldo is going like, "Oh," and like getting all fucking excited and like tapping his teammates and stuff. I was like, "Oh, bless him," because Ronaldo's a good kid. And you're just like, "Oh, for fuck's sake, he's so sweet." He's getting all excited about the fucking Undertaker presenting the trophy.
They probably tried to get Yokozuna, and someone had to tell them to the greatest Royal Rumble.
So they'll be like, "Wait, you mean that wasn't Yokozuna? We only saw him a few years ago." Fucking hell, man. Would you, if you were Roman Reigns, because that's his family, like, wouldn't you be a bit like, why the fuck's this guy here? Like, who's he supposed to be? And they're like, don't tell anyone, but he's supposed to be Yokozuna. He's like, well, that's a bit fucking out of order, isn't it? It's like, but just don't tell them. It's like, tell who?
Vince was probably there like, yes, it's out of order, but what you must also understand is money.
Yeah. Would you like me to write you another check? Fucking hell sakes.
But the thing we have had on SmackDown and Raw for the last few weeks, because in 2 weeks' time, or 2 weeks tomorrow actually, it'll be WWE 2K24 hits. So we've had some of the ratings being revealed.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go play a game of Brucey's Price is Right.
Let's go.
So I'll give you a name of a wrestler, and I'll give you the first rating, and then you can tell me if you think they're higher or lower going down this list that I've made.
Okay, all right.
So I haven't got. There's only about, after the list that I've got, there's only about 7 more people that have actually been told yet.
Fine.
So we'll start off with Cody Rhodes, who is this year a 93 rating on WWE.
Okay.
So up next we've got Solo Sikoa. Do you think he's higher or lower?
Lower.
Cody Rhodes. Lower. Higher. No, lower. He is lower. He's 86 rated.
Okay.
We then go to Jimmy Uso. Higher or lower than Solo Sikoa?
I'm going to say lower.
You think Jimmy Uso is lower rated than Solo Sikoa?
I think so.
He's only gone and done it. He's right. He's 84 rated this year.
Yeah, because Solo's done more. He's been more active than Jimmy, so...
Yeah.
Right.
We then have Zelina Vega.
How much was Jimmy, sorry?
Jimmy's 84, so 2 ratings lower than Solo Sikoa.
Okay.
Zelina Vega.
Oh. Well, you've kind of put me in a position now, because I'm going to say lower, but...
Lower than Jimmy Uso.
Yeah.
You are correct. 74 rated for Zelina Vega.
Oh, it's all right. Love
74. Tiffany Stratton. Higher or lower than Zelina Vega?
Higher.
Correct. 79 overall. We have Johnny Gargano.
Oh.
Higher or lower than Tiffany Stratton?
Lower.
Lower? Higher?
Yeah, no. Lower.
It's lower. He is lower. He's 74 overall.
Oh, no.
He's 74 overall, Johnny Gargano, this year.
Oh, dear.
So we now have Chad Gable after...
Higher.
Higher.
Definitely higher than 74.
He is higher. He is 80 overall.
Okay. This is...
Dominic Mysterio.
Which one, Tom or Nick?
Both combined.
Okay. Higher.
You think Dominic Mysterio's got a higher rating than Chad Gable?
Yes.
You're correct. He's 83 overall.
Yeah. Okay.
Kevin Owens.
Oh my god, is he definitely higher than Dominic Mysterio?
Kevin Owens is 86 overall this year on the
Right.
game.
Okay.
So you're doing well here. Drew McIntyre's up next. Higher or lower than KO?
What was
On
KO?
86 for KO.
Drew McIntyre higher.
Higher he is. He's 89 overall.
Yeah.
Finn Balor.
Lower.
Lower than 89. He is. He is 87 overall.
Smashing it.
Logan Paul, the Maverick.
What was the last one? Finn Balor?
Yeah, Finn Balor at 87.
I'm going to say... Oh, God. Oh, God. Do I... Oh, dear. See, I don't Oh, but he is good, though. It's unfortunately good. 87, Finn Balor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
87 for Finn Balor.
Okay. Based on everything that's happened this last year, who would be? I think Logan Paul is. I think he's either the same or higher than Finn Balor.
None of them are the same. I haven't been that cruel.
Oh, okay.
I'm not as bad as Brucey.
No, okay, all right. I think then that Logan Paul is higher than Finn Balor.
So what rating would you give Logan Paul then if you think he's higher than an 87?
88.
88. He's 90 overall in the game.
Fucking hell! All right. Yeah.
He is the two people that aren't on this list that Logan Paul is the same as. He has the same rating as Gunter and Jey Uso, both on 90.
Okay.
So up next we have Rhea Ripley. Higher or lower than 90 overall?
Oh God, what was Zelina Vega? She was 70 something, right?
74, Zelina Vega.
I think Rhea's higher than 90.
Correct. She is 96.
Yeah, strong.
96 rating. So then we have JD McDonough, the other member of Judgment Day.
Lower.
Yeah, he's 71.
Yeah.
71.
Yeah.
Then we have the man of the moment, R-Truth.
Higher.
Higher than 71.
Yeah.
There's only one left after R-Truth.
Did I get it?
And you've just lost the toaster.
No!
He's 67 overall.
No, Truth. No, you're worse than JD McDonough. What the fuck's he done?
He's 67 overall, R-Truth.
Oh, I was on a roll. God damn it.
And the last person I had on the list was Maxine Dupree.
Oh, well, yeah. She would have. Okay, so she would have been higher than R-Truth.
She is lower. She is 64.
God. Oh, for fuck's sake. Okay.
64 overall.
I don't know what made me think that R-Truth would have been higher than him. Because that's because R-Truth's actually been doing some good shit, but then he has lost everything. So that's how they do it. That's how they work out their ratings. It is a win-loss. They treat it like it was a legit sport, and they do it. They do it on a win-loss ratio. That's how I came to the conclusion that Logan Paul was going to be higher than thing, because although he hasn't had many matches, he's won them all. So it's like, aside from Money in the Bank, he's pretty much won everything that he's been in, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how I worked. That's how I figured that he was higher than Chad Gable.
Yeah.
But
I was so surprised when I see Logan Paul 90 overall.
Yeah,
same as Gunter. He's 3 ratings lower than Cody Rhodes.
That's shocking. But like I said, I think that's how they work it out. So yeah, I think it's down to win-loss ratio. That's what I think anyway. Do we have any other news to?
Some news which I know we're normally WWE based, but again, another unfortunate injury. This time on the AEW brand, and that is Hangman Adam Page broke his ankle on Dynamite.
Ooh. Oh shit. That's unfortunate. I mean, I mean, cards on the table. I know fuck all about AEW. I tell you what, when it was like fairly new, I tried to watch it because I was like, I was at a point where I was a bit fed up with WWE at the time, and I was like, okay, I want to see what this other AEW is like. I want to see what's going on here, and I just never. I could never keep up, and their roster was so fucking big. I was like, all right. So for me, every week there was like new people, and I was like, what is going on? Like, I don't, and yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think when at first, the thing that's kept me going, and I say kept me going, I watch it every now and then, but it used to be like proper Attitude Era WWE, but now WWE is slowly seeming to go back into that sort of Attitude Era sort of vibe. Not fully; they still don't have the blood and stuff.
They're
but
not
when
quite there.
Yeah, but I think AEW sort of overdo that now. There's like John Moxley will take a clothesline and be busted open from like 7 different places.
Yeah.
So, but when they do stuff at AEW, they do some of the older stuff really well. And the only other thing is there's been a few wrestlers that obviously have been tied with the legend that is Sting, because he's winding down his career. I think he's only got a couple of months left.
Yeah.
And looks like the final match between Darby Allin and Sting is going to be against the Young Bucks. But there's been talks of like Sting wanting some of his old friends to be either invited to ringside or even in the arena, just like watching for his last match. But I think there's still some red tape around it. And I don't know how true this is. I don't know if WWE are going to go, you know what, Sting, go support your friend, some of their people or whatever.
Okay.
And the only reason I say I don't know how true it is because the person that said it is not very known for being truthful most of the time. And that is Kevin Nash has basically said that WWE have forbidden him from going to AEW to stay, like, to support Sting in his last match or whatever.
Well, considering that Triple H is pretty much in charge of that bit, and you've got Nick Khan as the top of the chain, I don't see how that's. I mean, I'm not saying that Kev's a liar. Big Kev's a liar. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't know. We're never going to know.
No.
But I don't know why. What do WWE gain from stopping Kevin Nash going to an AEW? He's not on there. He's not anything to do with them at the moment. He's not on TV.
It's because there's other people as well. I think there's Booker T's another one that's been asked to go because obviously WCW they wanted to be there, and Booker's basically said that he hasn't said that he's not going to be, like he can't be there sort of thing. Well, he's sort of implied that he won't be there.
Right.
He hasn't said that WWE have stopped him from going. But for me, I just don't like, for a legend like Sting. I think there's some things bigger than just like this whole, in quotations, forbidden door shit that gets chucked around.
That's why I don't believe it. I don't think WWE, especially considering that he is a legend and in their books as well. Like, I don't see why they would have an issue. I'm not sure what's going on there. That doesn't seem correct to me.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something. I fucking loved Sting when I was a kid. Yeah, I was more of a Sting fan than I was Hogan.
And I think that Sting has done retirement correctly. I think, and what I mean by that is you see the likes of Ric Flair that goes I want another match, and he's like, he's too old to carry on. Sting knows that he's getting too old to carry on, and when he signed for AEW, he basically, I think he's had like handful of singles matches. He's always been tag team matches.
Yeah.
And he's literally said to AEW, I want my final match to be a tag team.
Okay.
I don't want it to be, he's like, I don't want it to be a singles match because my body physically cannot do it.
Yeah, fair enough.
So he's probably gonna come in, do a few spots, maybe a high spot, because he does, even at his age, he is still leaping off like he's leaping off the crowd barriers and stuff like that in AEW at the minute and taking dives onto concrete floors and stuff. And then, but then again, he gets to also rest and recover while Darby does most of the work for him and takes probably a beating. And also, it probably means that the awkward thing is the only thing, unless something happens between now and when that match is, I can't remember when it is exactly. But what AEW have done poorly, I think, is they've given Sting and Darby the tag belts.
Oh, okay.
Sort of like one last run for Sting with a belt, basically. But at the same time, one, Sting has said he didn't want the belt.
Oh.
He said he didn't want to have it. But then two, does it not sort of foreshadow that they're going to lose his retirement match to the Young Bucks?
So I mean, I often listen to different wrestlers podcasts from years past, and they all say the same thing. It was a done thing back in those days. It was a done thing that you would lose your last match. You would retire with a loss. So that's why Stone Cold's last proper match, where against Rock, he lost because that was his last match.
I think you'll find his last proper match was against Kevin Owens, good sir.
Yeah, I mean, well, it wasn't it? And then it kind of wasn't. But back in 2004.
Yeah, I know the one you mean.
He lost to The Rock at WrestleMania X7.
Yeah.
Or was it X8? I can't remember. I keep getting those two mixed up. Whichever one it was, he lost to The Rock. That was his retirement because his neck was completely fucked, and I think his back was blown out as well. So he retired on a loss, and they do say that if it's your last match, you pass the torch, like you go out losing. But yeah, I don't think that's not a done thing anymore. You know, Kurt Angle's last proper match was a loss.
Baron Corbin,
yeah,
went over to him.
Yeah, and then they did absolutely fuck all with it.
Yeah. I think the other thing really to bring up before we go on to the fantasy booking is one thing I forgot that happened on Raw.
Yeah,
is we had our first proper crossover into the multiverse.
Okay.
It was very awkward and very weird, but halfway through the show they cut to a UFC fighter in the crowd and gave him a microphone, and he called out Conor McGregor.
Oh.
Let me just see if I can find the name of the person who it was. Michael Chandler.
Okay.
Was in the front row or something like that.
Okay.
And he just started screaming into a microphone and staring down the camera, calling out Conor McGregor.
Okay.
And when I say screaming,
you mean like the Brock Lesnar voice box breaking scream?
Yeah, obviously we can't. We might put it in the edit and stuff like that, but I'm going to send you a quick photo.
Stop giving me things to do.
This is a still from the thing. This is what I mean when he's shouting. That's him shouting.
Well, you said, let me check what. Oh, for fuck's sake! Oh my god! Jesus Christ!
He is red in the face, screaming, calling out Conor McGregor. He is trying to turn into the Raw logo. His face. That is what's happening.
Oh my god! Jesus. Okay, that needs to stop. They can't. Are they trying to make WWE legit, like a legit fighting competition? Because it ain't. It's not.
I don't know if it's just because obviously TKO own both, so I don't know if that's what we're going to sort of get now that they're going to use the platform for.
I said this to you. I remember saying this to you. I think it was in the first podcast, or it might have been at some point. But I said that we could start seeing lines being blurred, crossovers, shared universe between WWE and UFC, and it's already started to happen. So
do you reckon next year in WrestleMania 41 or whatever it's going to be, that we're gonna get Michael Chandler versus Conor McGregor UFC fight in the middle of WrestleMania.
You're laughing, but you forget about the Brawl for All.
Yeah.
You're laughing, but you forget about that. They actually had legitimate boxer, Butterbean, fight Bart Gunn. A wrestler who was just good at fighting other wrestlers.
Yeah.
Who are not legit boxers. And he had his shit caved in within like 2 rounds. He was he just got folded like a fucking pack of cards. You know?
Well, I think you're forgetting the even bigger one, which was the Big Show versus
Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather.
But this is what I mean. So boxing and Mr. T, we can't forget about Mr. T at WrestleMania 1 and 2 as well. Can't forget about that. Mr. T, who is not a legitimate fighter, who was in a Rocky film around that time, helping Hulk Hogan in the main event, and then boxing Roddy Piper, which was strange. And you know, God bless him, you know, Roddy Piper. I love Piper. I really did. His promos were just they were just some wild fucking shit, and he clashed Jimmy Snooker with the coconut at that time on Piper's Pit. I was just like, oh my god, this guy is extra. But they boxed, and apparently he said that he was told to lose to Mr. T. Apparently, he was told that he had to lose. Like, where, you know, let him punch him, but like let him whatever. But so basically, what we're saying is I said that it wouldn't be weird to see UFC and WWE blur lines and have like crossover promotion. We had it. You've just told me about it. We had it on Raw, so that didn't take long. But I think maybe not this year, but definitely next year at WrestleMania, there's going to be some sort of UFC thing. I don't know. I think it'd be really weird. And it would be so jarring to have, because some UFC fights, they last 10 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, because it's legit. It'd be really weird to have like a big, you know, spectacle like WrestleMania, big fireworks and everything. You've got the entrances that take forever because people go extra because it's WrestleMania, and then over somewhere else in the arena they have the octagon.
Yeah,
and then you have a WrestleMania style walkout because it kind of is for that. You know, Conor McGregor comes out. This Michael Chandler comes out, and then they fight legitimately for 12 minutes. I can't remember how long the rounds are, but not 12-minute rounds, but like a 12-minute fight. 3-minute rounds, whatever.
Put a time limit on it or something like that, so it's not a full fight. Because some, like you say, some UFC fights last seconds, some last literally like 20 minutes because they're built differently. Where
they are built differently, but you see. Is the crowd going to be like, cool, we get to have a UFC fight, which makes the rest of what we're watching look even more pantomime? Or do we just not have that? I don't think we should have that. I think just have the wrestling. Have WrestleMania be WrestleMania. You could have promotional parts, like maybe not so much this guy just screaming his lungs out down a microphone, down the camera to Conor McGregor, who probably wasn't even watching. I leave let wrestling be wrestling. Leave the UFC be UFC. Keep them separate, but you can allow them to cross promote. Although I don't see how. I mean, they'll be like, oh look, I don't know. Kevin Owens is in the crowd for the UFC thing, and he's just sitting there, and he's just like, "Yeah, so Roman Reigns, I am calling you out." Like, what the fuck,
The only person I could see getting away with some shit like that is Logan Paul if he just stands up in the middle of a UFC fight.
Oh my god! Can you imagine? Well, he thinks he claims he's a boxer. So yeah, Logan Paul having a UFC fight against, like, I don't know. Well, a UFC fighter, like they could hurt him like really really bad. They could really hurt him, and then he has to then come back to the WWE where he's scripted to win. Like it won't be good. It won't be good. But yeah, to do the call out thing, like, you know, hey, I'm calling you out. They'd be like, why the fuck are you here? You know, that's how I would have felt if I was at Raw.
Or it'd be the guy at work. There's two guys at work that love UFC and watch every single one.
Right.
And when there was one at the weekend just gone after recording this, and he was watching it. But what he was saying was, because I don't really watch UFC, is that the event basically started probably at around 10 p.m. UK time.
Yeah.
But the actual main event wasn't until 3 a.m.
Oh yeah.
UK time.
That's normal.
So I think but in that sense, then you could always have like Logan Paul or someone WWE has do the call out before the main event. Like, so you could still put the videos because it would have all the UFC logo in. It would look like it was done at a UFC event, but there's not as many eyes on it because a lot of people don't bother tuning into the first rounds because they're usually terrible. Like the guy at work was like, "Yeah, this is awful, but I'm going to watch it because it's, you know, it's just on in the background." So he was
sure.
It was there, but he wasn't paying attention. So if you did like a call out and you wanted to like switch it so it was the other way around as well to get eyes on both products since it's all TKO, you could do it in the earlier rounds.
Yeah, you could. Although again, I just don't see the point. I think it's going to just confuse too many people. It's not going to get eyes. Like, people who enjoy the UFC, they're not going to really want to watch the wrestling because they're expecting, you know, proper fighting, and the same, like, I don't mind watching a bit of UFC, but I'm here for the wrestling, like the story, the pageantry, the you know, I'm here for that. I'm not here for actual, like, proper bare knuckle fighting, you know.
Yeah.
that's just how I feel about it. But, you know, you're right. It could be we start seeing multiverse crossovers.
Yeah.
Well, I think we could. Sorry, go on.
Should we get the fantasy booking? Should we end up?
Yeah, I suppose.
It's your turn.
Oh,
don't worry. I'm giving you a blank canvas to work with.
Okay.
Because the person so if you're new, this is the first one you've listened to. What are you doing? Go back. There's two more. But also, we end every podcast with a fantasy booking,
right?
Where one person gets given a random wrestler that's on the roster of WWE, and they have to book them till whenever they want, or until a set date when we given. So I am going to give you. I want you to book the return of Alexa Bliss.
Why are you always giving me the women? That's twice. That's twice now.
I like the fact that you've gone. Why are you always giving me the women? We're on episode 3. There's been 2. You had to do 2 of these. That's not all the women.
I know, but for fuck's sake, Shayna Baszler was the other one. Okay, all right. Oh God, Alexa Bliss. Okay, right. Are there any caveats? Are we completely, you know, with respect to Bray Wyatt, are we completely ignoring the Sister Abigail or whatever she was stuff?
Well, she technically never actually rejoined Bray as Sister Abigail when he came back the second time with Uncle Howdy. There was like sort of, it kept flashing in the background for her, but it wasn't there. So you don't have to if you want to. Well, it's up to you. You can do a blank. Like I said, it's a blank canvas. You can either have her and Uncle Howdy come back as a faction on NXT, or you can.
Yeah, but I don't. But the thing is we don't know what's happening with that. Okay, all right. Yeah, well, this is fantasy booking. Okay, all right, fine.
Yep. Or Alexa, you can have her come back as her old women's champion self and go straight for the title.
Twisted Bliss, yeah, I suppose. Well, no, that's her move. Yeah, I don't know what her nicknames were. It's okay. Right. Okay. So, where are we now? So we're Elimination Chamber. We're going into Mania. The Raw after Mania would be a good place to start. She's already main event material. She's proved that. Although, you know, the scene has changed. So let's see. So she can. Okay. So All right, Raw after Mania. Let's say, because we haven't done our predictions for that. So Bailey's beaten Io Sky with help from Dakota Kai, so she's champion. You've got, I'm going to say Rhea retains, just because why not? You know.
Yeah.
So Rhea is champion, Bailey's champion, Alexa Bliss. So all right. So Alexa Bliss returns after. Do we have heel Bliss? I think we have heel Bliss. So she returns. So Bailey comes out and she's like, oh, you know, it's nice to be wanted again by the fans, and they're all like cheering for her and stuff. And she's like, I'm gonna defend this championship. I know that Io Sky has a rematch clause, so she can bring it on whenever. I'm ready. I've proved that, that I can hang with the best. And as she's talking, you get, so okay, I think I am going to go with this. So the lights flicker a bit, and then Alex and then they come back up, and there's like a guy at ringside, like he's messing with cables and stuff, and Bailey sort of looks at him. He's like, no, it's okay. Like gives a thumbs up, like carry on. So she's like, okay. So she carries on, and then the hoarding around the side of the ring with the lights on, that starts to flicker and have problems, and like the graphics go out. Then they come back. When they come back on, they're all glitched and stuff, and like Bailey's trying to do her promo, and at this point she's said what she's needed to say, so the rest of this can be ad-libbed as much as she wants, because the idea is that she's been distracted by this what's happening, and the lights are dipping, and this guy is like, he's like got these like big headphones on, and he's talking to the thing, and he's like pressing buttons and shit, and he's like, I don't know what's going on. And she's like, and then Bailey just, okay, like no problem. And as she turns to walk up the ramp, you've got like a silhouette of someone with pigtails, and you get, I would love to, as a sort of semi tribute as well, I'd love to have like a remix of Bray Wyatt's theme of somehow, but that like the piano at the beginning, there's like bing 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 like that, like, but slowly, and it plays as you get this like outline of this silhouette of this person, and then you can have like a laugh or a giggle sound effect, and then like the board that the guy was messing around with at ringside like explodes, like sparks and shit, and Bailey's like, okay, what the fuck? And then the lights come back on, the graphics are all fixed, and the Titantron's like cleared. It's cleared. It just says Raw, or is it Smackdown? It can say Smackdown. Because I'm forgetting for a second. No, wait, I'm getting really confused. It's Raw, isn't it, that Bailey is signed to?
No, I think Bailey will be SmackDown, because that's what Io Sky's on, I think.
So Rhea's Raw champion then.
Yeah.
Okay. So this still happens after WrestleMania anyway. The reason why I wanted to say the Raw after Mania is because that tends to be the one where like everything happens. But let's forget I said Raw after Mania, and we'll move it to SmackDown after Mania. So this happens on SmackDown after Mania. Lights go out. That all happens. It all goes back to normal. Bailey looks really sort of like, what the fuck was all that about? And she walks up the ramp. The technical guy is okay. He's fine, right? And it's not Uncle Howdy. It's not. It's just a guy. Then the following SmackDown, you get the same sort of thing happening when Bayley wins her match against whoever the challenger is. It could be Selena Vega, someone lower down the card. But Bayley retains, obviously, or she just has a match. Then that stuff starts happening again, but not. It's not as like there isn't too much fuckery going on, but like the boards are all glitched, but they start to like have numbers and letters in them, so like almost like a cipher a bit, and then they clear. So they're only on there for a second because the internet will be like taking pictures of like still shots of it and going away and putting it all together to try and come up with, oh, what does that mean? What does that mean? And you get this, and people by now are probably going, oh, it's Alexa Bliss, it's Alexa Bliss. And then we get to, so what would be after? So then we have Backlash, don't we? So then that's the next big pay-per-view. So for a couple of weeks you get this weird like thing, and then at Backlash, Bayley's defending title. This is her rematch with Io Sky. Damage Control are there. They're doing their thing. I would say at this point in the match they've interfered, but the referee's like knocked out. Bayley gets sprayed with the mist from Asuka, and people think, oh no, she's going to lose now. Lights go out in the arena. There's a lot of noise, like you hear people hitting the stairs with items, with objects, and stuff. And when the lights come back up, Asuka is out, laid out. She's out. Kairi Sane's been laid out, and Bayley's like wiping the mist out of her eyes so she doesn't see who it is. And Io Sky is she's on the outside, and she's got like black paint kind of like smeared into her face, and so have the others. So have Asuka and Kairi Sane. They got like black paint like smeared on their face and shit. And so Bayley's like, okay, really strange, but whatever. Pulls Io Sky into the ring, finisher, pins her, retains. And as the weeks go on from that, Bayley starts to get more assistance every time it looks like she's about to lose. And you get this, you get the sound effect of the laugh, the giggle, whatever it might be. And finally so then after that it's Money in the Bank. So then after that you finally get Bayley come, like the week before Money in the Bank, she comes on the thing and she's like, okay, I need to know who this is. Like, what is going on? Like, she's like, something is really, really wrong with what's happening right now. And then you just have Alexa Bliss somewhere in like the arena. She's given a mic and she starts talking through the mic. Maybe backstage with a camera on her, and she's talking. She basically says, it's like, oh, I couldn't possibly let this angel of a champion lose to someone who's unworthy, especially when they haven't seen me for a while. And and by that point, people should know that it's Alexa Bliss. They should have figured it out. Like, so the cipher that was on the board, the internet would have deciphered it, and then they would have figured out that it said something like, "Come and play with me" or something. And so I'll come up with something better when I've got more time. I'll come up with a better thing, but it says something like that. So we get to so we're on the week before Money in the Bank. And she finally says, like, you can't lose your belt to someone who's unworthy, especially when you haven't had me around for a while. And I want to be able to prove to you that I'm worthy. So Bayley's like, what? And she's like, and then, she's being all playful and shit. And she says, you can't say you haven't missed me. And Bailey's like, I don't even know who you are. Where are you? And she can be in like one of the skyboxes, and it just pans to her, and it's Alexa Bliss, and she's like just sitting there, feet up, microphone, and she's got her hair in the pigtails for the moment, you know, and she's but her face paint is, because the thing is Rhea Ripley is really doing a really good like Joker sort of makeup, so it has to be different. So Alexa Bliss has kind of got she's got like the black paint thing going on, not quite like Valkyrie either, because that's been done as well. So she's kind of got like maybe one eye just has like what looks like, I suppose, ink running out of it. I suppose that's going to be her new look for a time being. That's her signature. So when something happens as there's shenanigans and there's like black paint involved, it's hers. So that's what I'm thinking at the moment. Because I was kind of thinking like, I don't know if you remember like back when Papa Shango cursed the Ultimate Warrior, and he was like throwing up like crayons, like melted crayons. Like I always thought that was a really good visual. So I kind of want to go for something like that. So Money in the Bank. They have, so the week before Money in the Bank, this is at the beginning of the show. This kicks off the show. So the Smackdown throughout the show, they have like qualifying matches, and then one of them, let's say it's meant to be Chelsea Green and Zelina Vega, right? It pans like, so Zelina Vega comes out, she does her thing, and the only reason why I'm picking Zelina Vega is because she's a similar size to Alexa Bliss, and I think they can put on a fucking awesome match. So Zelina Vega comes out, she's waiting for Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green's music plays, Titantron hits, but no Chelsea Green. Cameras go backstage because they go looking for her. They go, and they do a little bit of like, you know, pulling back the curtain. They go to Gorilla, she's not there. They go to the hallway leading up to it, she's not there. So then they have a moving camera now, because I miss when they used to do stuff like this. So they have a moving camera backstage, and it gets to the locker room, and a lot of the other female superstars have broken kayfabe, and they're all crouched around Chelsea Green, she's been laid out, and she's like got like smeared like this black paint like over her face, around her neck, and all this sort of stuff, and like some of it can be like pouring out of her mouth, and she's laying like face down, obviously, so she doesn't choke. And then everyone's like, what the fuck is going on, like what is this, like, you know. Then back in the ring, the referee is like, well, if she can't participate, then the match goes to Zelina Vega. And before the referee can do that, Alexa's new music hits, which is what I said. It's like a slow version, a slightly slower, more melodic, even more melodic version, like an Evanescence version of Bray Wyatt's theme. Play like the lights go down, it plays in the arena. She comes out, and yeah, everyone's doing the Fireflies thing because obviously they would. And she's on microphone. She goes, I'm available. I'll happily take this match if it's okay with Nick Aldis, because he's SmackDown, right? Yeah. So he checks off. He's like, yeah, okay. Like he's too busy dealing with what's happened with Chelsea Green to be. He's like, yeah, okay, right. Just keep the show going. We were going to fix this. So Alexa Bliss goes down there, has a great match with Zelina Vega, wins, goes into the Money in the Bank ladder match. Ladder match at Money in the Bank happens. Alexa Bliss gets the briefcase. So she's now holding the Money in the Bank. Now Bailey is now on notice. And what we get in the run up to the following pay-per-view, which I think is SummerSlam, is after Money in the Bank, or we have one. Was there one in between? Because Money in the Bank's in June and SummerSlam's usually in August.
think I've deleted the tab, or I went over to find that Michael channel. Here we go. Let me find out. Which two was it between? Sorry,
Money in the Bank and SummerSlam.
between Money in the Bank and SummerSlam, there is nothing. No, it was
Okay.
the only one is the NXT Great American Bash.
Okay. All right. Fine. So from so Alexa Bliss wins Money in the Bank. No shenanigans during the match. She just is better, like, than whoever else is in. You can have a lot of high spots, a lot of high flying, you know, people in that match, but the bottom line is that Alexa Bliss wins. So now she's got the briefcase. Now the mind games start. So now she starts to really mess with Bayley. She starts frightening her by, you know, like surprising her. Just like, it starts off silly and playful, like she just jump scares her backstage, like she's just like, hi, and Bayley's like, oh Jesus, okay, don't do that, like don't sneak up on me, because so there's no, you don't know that there's any ill meaning there, but every time she's around Bayley with the briefcase, like Bayley's like, you know, she's ready to fight like straight away. And Alexa Bliss is like, no. She says, I'm not going to do that. She's like, I'm not going to do that. She goes, you're safe. It's okay. And Bayley's like, oh, I don't believe you. And Alexa Bliss is like, oh, why? She's like, because you've got the Money in the Bank briefcase. She's like, oh, well, you know, I might challenge for the other one. You don't know. And all this sort of like, you know, mind game shit. But then, like, Bayley's matches, like, if she's ever looks like she's going to lose, there's shenanigans, and it's classic. It becomes a regular thing where lights go out. You know, there's some sort of shenanigans, and someone interfere. You never see who it is. You always get a feeling that it's Alexa Bliss. Then so as the weeks go on, it gets progressively worse. So Bayley is now completely on edge the entire time. Like, you know, she has, like, she looks tired. Like there's a point where, like, comes to a point where she hasn't done her hair, she hasn't really done her makeup. Like she looks like, you know, it's stressing her out. And she's talking to Nick Aldis and saying, look, you have to do something. She's harassing me. Like, she's just, you know, and he's like, well, what's she done? He's like, well, she hasn't done anything, but I'm sure she's going to. And he's like, if she hasn't done anything, I can't do anything. You know what I mean? Like, there's sort of that. So there's a lot of mind games happening. And then we get to SummerSlam, and the match between Bayley, I want to say, what kind of match should it be? It can't be a standard match. I think we'll go for we'll go for a standard match. We'll go for a standard 1v1. And the match starts, there's no shenanigans. It's fine, but Alexa Bliss still has the briefcase. They have a match, Alexa Bliss loses. Clean. No shenanigans. So at SummerSlam, she loses. She then starts to go on a bit of a, like, I don't know, more, she starts acting more and more like she's a sociopath. Like, she starts, you know, stalking Bayley a bit. You know, you'll see Bayley doing an interview, and right at the back, in the far shot, you'll see Alexa Bliss, and she's just standing there with her briefcase. And maybe, like, if they can do it, if there's some sort of camera trickery they can do, like, she's there 1 minute and then, like, just she disappears. That'd be kind of cool, I think. And then we get to, so we go through that, and that happens frequently. And just when Bayley, like, begins to turn around, and look, just because she feels something, Alexa Bliss disappears. Like, that's always going to be a thing. and then again, the shenanigans continue when Bayley she's gonna lose, and sometimes this stuff happens, right? Where if she goes over clean, like, we can book some of those, that's fine. But when it looks like she's about to lose, we can have the whole shenanigans with the NWO black paint and stuff like that. But then we get to Survivor Series, and Alexa Bliss is like, you know, she's like, okay, you know, you beat me at SummerSlam. I have to let someone else challenge you. She goes, but just to let you know, I'm not gonna let you lose to someone who's unworthy. And this is her thing that she's going on about. Okay, fine. So I'm gonna say because I'm gonna side book something. Side book. Shayna Baszler faces Bayley as well.
We've gone back 2 weeks.
Yeah. Shayna Baszler's going to face Bayley. Because remember, Alexa Bliss has always said it's someone unworthy, right? In my world. So Shayna Baszler really is like taking it to Bayley. You know, submissions, you know, all kinds of stuff. It's a rough old match. And then towards the end, she's got Bayley in the coquina clutch. Bayley's fucking turning blue, like she's like, oh my god. But she does the Hulk out thing. She she manages to slam Shayna into the turnbuckles, and she gets out of the coquina clutch. She hits Shayna with the finisher. Beats Shayna Baszler. Lights go down. Music starts. Alexa appears she just appears in the ring, and she's already given the briefcase to the referee. And Bayley's like, she's like, no, not now, like, you know, and what you don't see is from behind, Shayna Baszler grabs Bayley again, puts her in the coquina clutch. Referee's got the briefcase. And he's like, oh, okay. He's like, I need to cash this in, but I also need to stop that. So he drops the briefcase, goes in, splits up, like gets rid of Shayna Baszler. Bayley's now she's just in a crumpled heap on the floor because she's been choked out again. And Bliss is literally just she does that thing where she's just sat in the corner just watching. Referee takes the briefcase, says to Bliss, like, do you want to cash in now? And she's like, yes. So he takes the briefcase, cashes it in. Match starts, and Bliss just walks over to Bayley, who's still in a crumpled heap on the floor, and just puts her hand on her stomach, and the ref counts 1, 2, and Bayley kicks out because she's fighting champ. Bayley kicks out. Alexa Bliss giving it to her, like smashing her, pins her, 2 count, 2.5, you know, like multiple pinfalls, multiple pin attempts. Bliss hits her with the twisted Bliss, doesn't matter, still kicks out at 2.5. Alexa Bliss just starts fucking screaming at the top of her lungs, just starts screaming. Lights go out, and then there's a spotlight at the top of the ramp, and it's someone in a trench coat, fucking top hat. It's Uncle Howdy, and he just points at the ring, and I don't know how they're going to do it, but they do some visual effects where even the screen that we're viewing the thing from glitches a bit, right? It disappears, goes back to the ring, lights come up. He's gone. He's disappeared. Alexa Bliss now, her hair's changed. Like I don't know how she can do it, but she pulls it like back in like a tight ponytail or something, and she's got like a different kind of jacket on or something, a bit like one of Bray's jackets, but different. She doesn't have the gloves yet, because I've got to think of something better for that, but. She's worked on a different finisher, like, so she'll have a different finisher, like maybe a flatliner. Bayley's just like in the corner. She looks like a cornered animal. She's absolutely terrified. and Bliss just walks over to her, grabs her by the, like, she's so much more violent, like just reaches down, grabs her by the hair, pulls her up, puts her into a flatliner, just, or a muscle buster maybe, just slams Bailey and just chucks her to the floor, and then she pins her, like, gets the pin for victory. She takes the belt, looks at it, and just chucks it back onto Bailey and just walks out. And it's like, so she sort of unlocked this higher, like, ceiling of power. Like, I don't know, I'm kind of going into the Undertaker sort of thing here, but it's like, so when we see Alexa Bliss after this, she's now not the normal Alexa Bliss. She's now this other version. So I guess I am kind of like trying to book the Fiend kind of thing again, but she ends up, she is champion, but she doesn't want to hold the belt, not interested. But they're like, yeah, but you are the champion, like, you did beat her, okay, although there was a bit of shenanigans, but you beat her. And she's like, don't want the belt. She's like, I don't want the belt. She's like, I want to just rule this division, and we don't need a champion. Just people just need to know that I am at the top of this tree. So then Nick Aldis is like, okay, fine, you don't want to be champion, well, that's absolutely fine. We'll vacate it. So it will vacate it, and then at the Rumble they have a women's Rumble for the belt. And I think at that point, we kind of go on like maybe a Roman Reigns style reign with Alexa Bliss, where she has the title, like, so she wins the Rumble for the title, but she kind of just holds it like it's more of a toy for her, like it's more of just like a thing. She's not actually interested in that, and she take, like, people like challenge her. The thing is, the people who challenge her, Bailey doesn't get her rematch until Mania, because I think that would be really, really good. When Bailey gets her rematch at Mania, that's when Bailey can win it back, I think. Like, she just overcomes this really nasty version of Alexa Bliss and sends her packing, like just sends her away, because Alexa Bliss is just like unbelievably strong, like even just throughout the thing, and we can put in shenanigans through it, like thrown in there to keep things spicy, but generally, yeah, I think I think that's probably how I would do it. It's almost like a year-long booking. A bit of like a sort of, respectful nod to Bray Wyatt. Gives the Uncle Howdy character something to do. He's like the puppet master almost. Like, he's the one that helped orchestrate everything. It gets revealed that he's involved as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm really bad at these bookings, dude. I can't do last minute bookings. They're all terrible. They're all terrible.
No, it's good. I think that, yeah, it sort of pays homage to Bray and his legacy, and it keeps it going. And you could build up like sort of a new faction where Bray almost becomes a god, basically.
Yeah.
They could like worship him, and it could be like his still Bray's faction where they don't really have a leader because they're just sort of like worshipping him. So you could have Uncle Howdy, you could have Alexa Bliss, you could even maybe bring back Eric Rowan or something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. Braun Strowman as well could come back to it.
Well, yeah, he's not doing a lot right now, except for. Well, yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's just not doing a lot.
I think he's injured. I think at the minute.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we better cut it there. That's a pretty lengthy episode.
Yep.
But we have had a lot to discuss.
Yeah, and we hope everyone enjoys the Elimination Chamber on Saturday.
That's right. Saturday, 10 a.m. UK time. WWE Network. I don't know if it's on anything else. I don't think it is. I think it's only on the network. So yeah, 10 a.m. for us. Suck it, America. Go on, Australia.
That's one way to end the podcast. Stuck it, America. Oh, bloody love you, Aussies. Yeah, damn right I do.
I just think it's like it because if they were, I don't know. I just feel like they need to know what it's like to have to be up late to watch one of their pay-per-views.
I think they're up really early. I think it's like 5 a.m.
It's like 5 a.m. for them. Yeah, it's crazy, but now they know. It's fine. So yeah, we're going to leave it there, guys. Thank you for joining us. If you are listening on Spotify, please do drop a follow and drop a comment as well. We do have a little section in there that does ask what we can improve upon or what you'd like to see from us or hear from us rather. If you're on YouTube, please hit a subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Spread the word. If you know other wrestling fans out there that do enjoy a podcast from two British lads that make up a load of bullshit and then talk about what else has happened during the week, that would be much appreciated. So thanks, guys. We'll see you on the next one. That's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from me.
All right, ciao, everybody. See you later. Have a good week. Bye.